Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. If there is some problem, you let me know, and we will see. So in this lecture, we will be seeing the modeling aspects of physical system. So I will be trying to cover this modeling aspect in this whole lecture. So if extra time is required, I will be extending the session maybe by 6:15 or 6:30. So be relaxed, okay? And please see the lecture whole as a lecture. Uh, even I am recording this lecture, so later you can have a look into it if you have any doubt. So we will be starting topic, that is what is a model. Earlier in our previous lecture, we have seen systems. What are systems? What are types of systems? We have classified the various types of systems. We have understood the system. Just briefly, we have understood based on the certain examples of each kind of a system. And in this lecture, we will try to cover modeling aspects of physical system. Okay. So what is a system? First, we have to understand what is a model that we have to understand. So let us suppose we are having a system that we have seen in our previous lecture. Now, this system cannot be studied directly by seeing into the system. You cannot understand the dynamics of a car, of a cycle, of a AC, of a television, of a mobile, but just by directly looking into it. Okay, there has to be a mathematical explanation or mathematical relation. So the equivalent mathematical model. So we will be having a look into equivalent mathematical model. Every system can be made into its equivalent mathematical model. So we will be looking into it. So an element or a mathematical representation of a plant or a system. If you want to give a description in one line, so it will be a mathematical or elemental description oblique representation of a plant oblique system. I have told you in previous class that plant and systems are same words. So we can use either of the words. So it is a mathematical or any elemental representation or description of a plant or a system. Why we are studying model? Because we want to study its dynamics. How will the model respond or how will the system respond under different scenarios? So what are the advantages? A model helps in the analysis. A model helps in the analysis of input output of the system. So we have seen a system where system is subjected to certain input, and to that input the system will respond, and we call it as a output. So we derive a mathematical model of that system, and that model is very helpful in analyzing or in analysis of input output relationship of the system. How will the system will respond to particular input? That will be analyzed based on the model or mathematical model, we can say. It captures the dynamics of system. It captures the dynamics. Dynamics means how fast your system is responding to certain input. What is the time it is taking to reach us? How much time the car is needing? For an example, how much time the car is need to reach from 100 kilometer per 0 kilometer to 100 kilometer per hour? How much time it is needed? How much time AC is requiring to cool a room with 10 people in it with 18-degree ambient temperature? So how much time? So this all comes under dynamics. How is your system is responding when some fault is occurring? So these are the dynamics. So model captures the dynamic of a system. So we can understand the certain dynamics of a system by understanding the mathematical model. So dynamics, as I told you, what does dynamics refers to? We have also seen I have also given you an example. Suppose a car is at rest. It wants to attain 100 kilometer per hour or 200 kilometer per hour. So how much time it is needed? Suppose 10 seconds it is needed. Some cars need 10 seconds. Some car needs 15 seconds. Some car needs 5 seconds. Okay, so these are called dynamics of a system. So car which needs less time can have better performance. So we can say this all can be analyzed based on the model of a system. So now that we have understood model, we will see types of mathematical model. Am I audible properly?
Yes, sir.
The types of mathematical models. Earlier we have seen systems. From systems we know that if you could give certain input, the system will provide certain output. Now you want to study that system. How is your system? So what you wanted to do, you want to make it as a mathematical model. Now if you have made a model, so how many types of mathematical models are possible? So as far as this course is concerned, I will let you know 3 types of mathematical model. Let me just draw like this. So there are 3 types of mathematical model possible. First is differential equation model. So this differential equation you might have studied under your school days in mathematics. What is differential equation? How to solve the various differential equation? First order differential equation, second order differential equation, third order differential equation. So this is one way to derive a mathematical model of a system. What is the way? That is using differential equation model. Second one is transfer function model. So in transfer function model, the dynamics are represented in terms of Laplace transform. Dynamics are represented in terms of Laplace transform. It is a frequency domain representation of the system. You can also say it is a frequency domain, because once you have taken the Laplace transform, it is changed from time domain to frequency domain. So we can say it is a frequency domain representation of system. So two things we have seen: differential equation model and transfer function model. So you can say right here as a time domain model. Transfer function is the frequency domain model and differential equation is a time domain model. Last one is your state space model. So state space model, though it is not in our syllabus, we will be only focused on these two, that is differential equation and transfer function. This is state space. I'm not sure. I think it is not in your syllabus, but still I will let you know briefly what is state space model. So state is a set of variables that describes system behavior in conjunction with system inputs. Here, dynamics means how the system is responding. Dynamics are represented by set of first order differential equation. Right? So dynamics are represented by a set of first order differential equation. This is a brief discussion about state space model, though it is not in our syllabus, so we will avoid this and we will talk more in details about the first two models, that is differential equation model and transfer function model. Just give me 2 seconds. So let us consider electrical circuit again, a voltage source connected to a resistor, connected to a inductor, and then a capacitor. The current flowing in this is current I. The value of resistor is R, the value of inductor is L, and the value of capacitor is C. So voltage drop across this is VR, voltage drop across this is VL, and voltage across this is DC. So if you want to study the differential equation mathematical model, so differential equation mathematical model, I'm just writing the equation, okay? We will be deriving this equation later on. I'm just giving you pictorial representation how these three mathematical model looks like, okay? Do not focus on how the equation is coming, just have a look into all the three different mathematical models. First one is dV by dt is equal to R di by dt plus L d square I by dt square plus 1 by C. I by Is upon Vs is equal to 1 upon R plus Ls plus 1 of Vs. Dil by dt dvc by dt will be equal to minus R by L, 1 by L, 1 by C, and 0. IL and VL, 1 by L and 0. So this first one gives you the differential equation model of this system, of this RLC network. So just see how the equations are looking like. The highest order is having second order, you can see. So voltage is explained or written in a form of differential equation. This one is a Laplace transform model or a transfer function model. You can have a look into this. Is is your output current that you want, and Vs is the input voltage, and it is arranged in a form of Laplace transform. How this is looking. The last one is your state space representation. State space representation, where dynamics are represented using first order differential equation. So you can see on the left hand side, we are having a first order model. Do not give much importance how these equations are coming. We will have a look into it. Not the last one, but the first two. We will have a look into it in coming time. Okay, in shortly. So first one gives the differential equation model. Second one is a Laplace transform or transfer function model. Third one is your state space model. So now we have studied systems, modeling, and we have also seen mathematical modeling. What are the types of mathematical modeling? Now we will do modeling of a system. Modeling of system. So modeling can be done in two ways. First one is analytical modeling. Second one is your experimental modeling. Under analytical modeling, it involves systematic applications of basic physical laws. Involves application of basic physical laws to system components and their interconnections. So what is basic physical laws? Like Newton's laws of motion, Ohm's law, KCL, KVL, all these things, these are called as physical laws. Whereas experimental modeling, and under experimental modeling, it is a selection of mathematical relations which best fits the observed input-output data of the system. It is a selection of mathematical relations, which best fits the observed input-output data of system. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Sir, in the analytical modeling,
Yes.
so in the analytical modeling involves application of basic physical. After that, what you have written?
I will provide you notes. Do not worry. It is 2.
No. Before 2.
Basic physical laws.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Physical laws. Okay, to the system. Now, in our syllabus, we will study this shortly, but just an overview of experimental modeling I will just discuss in a very brief, though it is not in our syllabus, but again I will be covering very little bit. I will be showing just a little example, then we will be overlooking it and we will be jumping into the analytical modeling. So what is an experimental modeling? Selection of mathematical relation which best fits the input-output data of a system. So let us see an example of experimental modeling. Okay, let us again draw an electrical network. This is your voltage, which is variable. Variable means it can vary between 0 to 100. I am giving it's a range of 0 to 100. You can set the range of 0 to 1, 0 to 10, 0 to 1000, 0 to 1, 10,000, etc.
Can you say it is a potentiometer?
Sorry?
Can we say that it is a potentiometer?
Rheostat, you can call it as a rheostat. Potentiometer also you can call it.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Just keep in mind that it is a variable. I'm just trying to explain the experimental modeling. Okay.
Yes.
Now this
Yes.
I. Now if V is equal to 0, therefore R is a constant. That is, you can say assume it to be 1 ohm. If V is equal to 0, I will be equal to
0. Right, sir.
0. So if V is equal to 0, that means I is equal to 0. That means this point is at origin. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now if I increase V is equal to 1, some amount of current will flow. If R is equal to 1, then current is equal to 1 ampere. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So if V is equal to 1, current will be equal to 1. So we will have second point here. Again, if next point, if V is equal to 2, I again will be equal to 2 ampere because resistance is 1. So third point is this point. Similarly, we can have other points as well. So in this way, we can join all the points. And what we are getting is we are getting a linear graph. So if you want to write this graph in form of mathematical equation, you can write V is equal to IR. So we have modeled this system by mathematical modeling, which is this equation, by experimental modeling. What is the process that we have used? We have used experimental modeling. You can see which best fits the input-output relation. Input is voltage output is our current, and we have got a linear relationship which best fits our. So this is how we can do experimental modeling. So I will not discuss much this in detail. I have just given a you brief. You can search more about it in Google. Now we will be discussing analytical modeling. And in analytical modeling, first we need to define the system, because we are already talking about systems. So we will discuss about little bit about systems, and that are physical systems. What are the types of physical systems? A system can be an electrical system. System can be a mechanical system. System can be electronic system. System can be hydraulic. System can be thermal. There can be more types of systems, but at this point, let us consider these physical systems. At any time, we have already seen. You might have already experienced electrical system in your home. Mechanical system also you might have already seen. So these two are in our syllabus. Rest these are not in our syllabus. So we will discuss more in details about this electrical systems and mechanical systems. These are not in our syllabus. I have written it just to make you aware that these are also the types of physical systems. So each of these systems can be modeled in terms of basic elements. Each of these 5 systems can be modeled in terms of basic elements. The basic elements of all the physical system can be shown to analogous. Analogous means it will have some kind of interrelationship between each one of them. So we will see what is the analogy between generally electrical people do the analogies with the water, how water is flowing, and in terms of that they derive certain laws, they derive certain experimental models, etc. Okay, so all this physical system have some analogy between them. Then analogy means similarities. Analogies means similarity. Okay, so we will have a look into what is the analogy between these, because these is only in our syllabus. Electrical and mechanical. Both electrical and mechanical can be made by the use of some basic elements. So we will see what are the basic elements. So electrical system. So electrical systems can be 2 types. You might have already seen till now. It is voltage source or current source. Any loop which is having voltage, or any system which is having voltage as a source, that is called as voltage source. Any loop or any system or any you can say model having a current as its source, you can call it as a current source. So I'm writing voltage source and current source. Now there are some basic elements, as I've already told you, basic elements of electrical system and mechanical system. Now what is the basic elements of voltage source? Basic elements can be resistance, inductor, capacitor. Similarly, in current source also there are basic elements which are resistor, inductor, and capacitor. This you might have already know, but I am just giving you a overall picture, so that it will be more clearer for you. So we are having voltage source and current source, where these 3 are basic elements of voltage source. These three are basic elements of current. So that means both are same. Now basic system variables. Now basic system variables. Variables means that the quantity that will change, or that the quantity that can be controlled. So basic system variables, it is having voltage as a system variable and charge as a system variable. So voltage we can write it V, charge we can write as Q. Here we are having current as a basic system variable, that is I, and we can write here flux, that is phi. So in voltage we are having charge, we will see Y. In current we are having flux, that is phi, Q and phi. So we will model these elements one by one. Electrical system elements.
Sir, can you scroll up one?
Yes, just wait. More? You want me to scroll?
No, sir, the basic system variables part.
Sorry?
Sir, I just want to copy the basic variable part, sir. So scroll down, sir.
Scroll down.
Yes, sir. That's it, sir.
The basic system variables, sir.
Basic system variable under voltage source is voltage and charge. Under current source, current and flux. So electrical system elements we will be discussing one by one. First one is our resistor. How we show resistor? We use this kind of a representation for resistor, where this is plus and this is minus, if you want, and this is R. So resistor, it is an element which resists the flow of current. You might have already studied, so I will not be writing that. I'm just explaining what does the resistor do. So a resistor is an element which resists the flow of current in electrical system. And how can we model this resistor? By equation of V is equal to IR. V is equal to voltage, I is equal to current, and R is equal to resistor. So this is simple. Next is inductor. How we represent inductor? Generally we represent like this. Again, plus, minus, and L. So this is L. So an inductor is an element that stores electrical energy in magnetic field. Stores electrical energy in magnetic field. And how we can model this inductor? We can model V is equal to d phi by dt. That is voltage across inductor is equal to rate of change of flux. That is phi is equal to flux. That is again voltage across inductor. That is voltage across inductor is equal to rate of change of flux. D by dt means rate of change. Per second, how much flux is changing, or per millisecond, how much flux is changing. So that is why I'm calling it the rate of change of flux. And how the flux is related with inductor? Flux is directly proportional to your current. That is, how much amount of the flux, that much amount of the current will flow. And in order to solve this directly proportional, we will have a constant, that is L. Now that L is called as inductor. You can write if you want. So V is equal to d phi. How we can model this inductor? V is equal to d phi by dt, where phi is directly proportional, that is flux across any inductor is directly proportional to the current flowing through it. And if you want to avoid this directly proportional, if you want to solve this more, so you can have a constant L. This constant L will represent the directly proportional, which is shown here. So phi is equal to Li. So this is how we can model an inductor. Again, I will be telling you, this is how we draw the inductor by this curve. And if the value of this inductor is L, so V, that is voltage across this inductor, is equal to rate of change of flux. And what is flux? That is directly proportional to I. Can anyone see how much student strength is there?
So 95.
95.
Okay, okay,
94.
okay, okay. So next is,
Or sir, excluding use.
yes, capacitor. Next is capacitor. That is capacitor. So capacitor is an element that stores electrical energy in electrical field. Stores electrical energy in electrical or electric field. So it stores electrical energy in electric field. How we represent capacitor? By this system, that is plus, minus, and C. And how we write the mathematical equation of this capacitor? That is written by current across the capacitor is equal to rate of change of charge. Here the voltage is there and here the current is there. Many times students get confused. So just remember this concept, just remember this mathematical equation. So how we model this capacitor? That is current across this inductor can be given by rate of change of charge. And charge is directly proportional to your voltage. Now in order to avoid this directly proportional, we will write Q is equal to CV. So you can substitute the value of this Q into here. So this will be equal to I is equal to C because C is a constant. So C dV by dt. So this is how we can model a capacitor. This is how V is equal to L di by dt. Here. This is how we can model an inductor. Just wait a second. Okay, any doubt till now? If anyone have any doubt, they can ask. Okay, so these are the basic elements of electrical network or electrical system: resistor, inductor, and capacitor. How we model them? A resistor can be modeled by V is equal to IR. Inductor can be modeled by V is equal to LDI by dt, and a capacitor can be modeled by I is equal to C dV by dt. What is an inductor? It stores electrical energy in magnetic field. What is a capacitor? Stores electrical energy in electrical field. Electric field. So there is a electric field between this parallel plate capacitor that we will not see because that is not part of control system. If you have any doubt in this understanding this concept, you can contact me later. Okay, I will be just going forward. So remember these three equations. Now we will see some examples of mathematical modeling of electrical network. Once we have understood the basic elements, so first we will see
Excuse me,
nodal analysis. Yes, please ask.
sir. Do physical systems come under analytical modeling?
No. See, modeling is two types of modelings are there, right? What is it?
Yes, sir.
How many types we can model a system?
So analytical. Another one was
Experimental.
physical.
You can see here modeling of a system. So these are the two things we can do the experimental modeling of physical system as well. So these are two different terms. Modeling of a system means you can model by these two ways. That is, one is analytical, one is experimental. Experimental is not in our case, but I have given you a brief example how we can do that. Right? But analytical modeling is how we do analytical modeling. It involves applications of basic physical laws that we will be seeing. Okay.
Okay. So physical systems are just a part, right?
Physical systems, as I have already covered, what is physical system? Electrical, it can be electrical system, it can be mechanical, it can be electronic, hydraulic, thermal. Okay. Now, in order to model this analytically, we will need a basic elements because there has to be some uniformity across the globe if you want to develop your own system, you cannot use your own element, right? Therefore, we are calling it as a basic element, because these are some basic elements which is used all across the globe or all across the world. So there is some kind of uniformity. Therefore, we are calling it as a basic element. Otherwise, you can call a register by any other name. Why we are calling a register as a register? Because there is some uniformity. Okay.
Okay, sir.
In future, if you do some experiments, if you invent something, so there has to be some uniformity. So first we will see a nodal analysis. That is in electrical system. Let us suppose we are having a current which is flowing as I. It's given here.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, only the electrical and mechanical systems are called basic elements. Only the electrical and mechanical components.
No. See, systems, there are various kinds of systems we have seen: electrical, mechanical, electronic, and hydraulic. Now, in this physical system, that is electrical systems, each system will have its own basic elements. Each system will have its own basic elements. Electrical system will have its basic elements. Mechanical system will have its basic elements. Electronic system will have its basic elements. Right? Hydraulic system will have some basic. What does basic element means? We will use these basic elements for modeling. Okay. Right now we have seen basic elements of electrical system. Since we have seen, so now we will be seeing modeling.
Okay, sir.
Okay. What is modeling? And we will be seeing analytical modeling, where we will be using physical laws. Which laws we will be using? Physical laws like KVL, KCL, Ohm's law. If we were in mechanical modeling, we will study basic elements and then we will model. What laws we will be using? Newton laws of motion, first law, second law, third law, whatever is required. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So first we will see nodal analysis. That is, we are having this circuit. We are having R, L, and C. Let us consider the current flowing across this is IR. Current flowing is this will be IL. Current flowing through this is IC. Let us assume we are having a voltage here as V. And let us assume we are having a ground here. Now, if you want to apply KCL, that is Kirchhoff's current law at node 1, what we are doing right now? We are doing modeling of this system. We are having this system. We are having this physical system. You can find all the elements, that is current source, resistor, inductor, and capacitor in the market. If you go to the market, you can purchase this element, you can bring it to your home, and then you can model it. This is what we are doing in terms of mathematical modeling. But when you do modeling, you require some mathematics to understand its dynamics. That is how will your system will respond. So therefore, we are writing its, we are doing its modeling. We are calling it as a mathematical modeling. So if you apply KCL at node 1, this is our node 1. So what is KCL? That is input current is equal to outgoing current. Is it not? Have you studied this or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the input current in this node? That is I. And what is the outgoing current? IR plus IL plus IC. Input current is I and outgoing current is this thing. Now we can replace IR. What is IR? What is the current across this resistor? That is, if voltage is V and the resistor is R. So we can write like this. What is the current across the inductor? We have just seen, that is 1 by L integration of V dt. What is the current across this capacitor? It can be written by C dV by dt or C dVc by dt. dVc is the voltage across this capacitor. Vc is the voltage across this capacitor. So we can write C dVc by dt. And if you apply this, so Vc will be equal to V, because if you take voltage here, if you give the current source to a longer duration, so Vc is equal to V. So ultimately it will be V. Now you can substitute V is equal to d phi by dt. That is, voltage is equal to rate of change of flux. So I will be equal to, if you substitute V is equal to d phi by dt here, so it will be C d square phi by dt square plus 1 by R d phi by dt plus phi by L. Because if you substitute voltage is equal to d phi by dt, this dt will cancel out, and integration and differentiation will also cancel out. So we will be getting a phi here. So this is a current source modeling of a current source system. So you can see here we have modeled this in terms of current source system, where phi is equal to flux. You can substitute V is equal to d phi by dt, because voltage across inductor is equal to rate of change of flux that we have already studied. You can see here voltage is equal to voltage across inductor is rate of change of flux. So if you can observe this, how many variables we are having here? C is a constant, R is a constant, and L is a constant, because capacitor, inductor, and resistor values are constant. So what are the variables remaining here? Current and flux.
Flux.
That is what we have studied. If you can recall, you can see here current source. In current source, what are the variables we are having? Current and flux. Whereas what are the basic elements we are having? Inductor, capacitor, and resistor. Just keep this thing in mind, okay? Now we will see, we have seen nodal analysis. Just we will reuse this equation again later on in our lecture. We have seen nodal analysis. Now we will see loop analysis. Again, we are considering a voltage source V, a resistor R, inductor L, and a capacitor C. R, L, and C. And this is the loop, and current is flowing I, and this is V. Now, if you want to apply KVL, that is Kirchhoff's voltage law at loop 1. So voltage will be equal to voltage drop across this, that is VR, voltage drop across this, that is VL, plus voltage drop across this, that is VC. Let us write it like this. So V will be equal to VR plus VL plus VC. Can I write it like this?
Yes, sir.
So V is equal to, what is the voltage drop across this? If I is the current flowing, I into R. That will the voltage drop across a resistor. Voltage drop across an inductor can be given by L di by dt. Plus voltage across capacitor can be given by 1 by C integration of I dt. Now you can substitute I is equal to, what is current? Current is equal to rate of change of charge. Current is proportional. Current is equal to rate of change of charge. So substitute the value of I here. So V will be equal to L. If you substitute I by dq by dt, so this will be equal to d square q by dt square plus R dq by dt. Substitute here I. So integration and differentiation will cancel out. So we will be having 1 by C into Q. So here, this is also again the equation. You can see here we are having a voltage source, which we have considered as an electrical network. This is a voltage source network. And if we see inductor, resistor, and capacitor, both these three are constant. And what is the variable that we are having? Voltage and charge, that is Q.
Sure.
The voltage and charge. So in current source, we have seen that current and flux are variables, and RLC are our basic elements. And similarly, in voltage source, we are having voltage and charge as our basic. Voltage and charge are the basic variables. All the other things are constant. Okay, we will come back to this equation later on in our lecture. Let us continue. So similar to this, our electrical network. Now we will see mechanical system. Mechanical system. So in mechanical system, there are two types of system. One which is having translational system. One which is having rotational. One is called as rotational system. There are two types of mechanical system: translational and rotational. What is a translational system? That is having a movement either left or right or upward or downward or any way. It can move in any direction. What is a rotational system? It moves around an axis. Okay, so that is a rotational system, and this is a translational system. Again, there are some basic elements for both of these systems. A ceiling fan you can consider as an example of rotational system, whereas a car you can consider as an example of translational system. Okay, there are two types. There are only two types of motion which is possible: a translation, that is upward, downward, front or back, or rotational. It is more revolving around certain axis. There is no other kind of mechanical system. Okay, now there are having some basic elements. Basic elements of translational element I'm writing here. Like we are having basic elements of electrical system. Here also we will be having basic elements of mechanical system. There are three basic elements of mechanical system. First one is mass. That is mass of any system. If your system is car, then what is the weight of car? Maybe 1,000 kilogram, 2,000 kilogram, 4,000 kilogram, etc. So mass is first element. Second is damper. That is B. Damper you can consider as a shock up, which is air pressure shock up, which is in your car. You can consider as it is a damper. Or you might have filled in. I'm not sure whether you have filled. You might have filled air in football or cycle tube by pumping. So that kind of is called as damper. So that is called as B. Third one is linear spring. Spring you all have seen. It might be present in your pen, which you are writing. Spring might be present in your pen, or you might have seen in any of the systems. So these kinds of systems, these are some of the basic elements of translational system. There is mass, damper, and spring. In rotational system, we are having inertia. Yes.
Sir, what's the meaning of damper? You said, please repeat that.
See, damper is I have just given an example. Damper, what does it look like? So if you have filled air in a football or any ball or any now I think there are various kinds of sofas which are also coming, which you fill an air. So the equipment which you fill air, there are two motions when you push it down and when you push it up. So that kind of a motion which is happening inside that pump is called as damper. You can consider it as a damper. Or you might have also seen, I'm not sure whether you have seen it or not, in car shock-ups. If you see or observe a shock-up, there is an air kind of a system is there in shock-up, which is arranged between the seat of a car or a bike or a seat of bike and the wheels. Shock-up kind of a thing is called as a damper. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So here also in rotational system also we are having some basic elements. First one is inertia. It is represented by J. Damper, again we are having damper, that is D. I will be moving fast because we are lagging on time. Okay. And torsional spring. Torsional spring. So these are kinds of basic elements. I'm not saying that you will be aware of this, but just take it as it is. Okay. This is the rotational system basic elements, like we are having resistor, capacitor, and inductor in our electrical system. These are the three basic elements. Here also we will be having some variables because these three things are constant. Mass of the car will always be constant. Inertia, it will always be constant. So here also we will be having basic system variables. What are the basic system variables? There is force. What is the force acting on the car? Force can be different at different time. And displacement. That is X. Force and displacement are two different types of the basic variables. Here we are having basic variables as torque. Torque means how much pressure is applied to move an object in its you can say origin. Okay. So torque, that is T. And here we are having angular displacement. Instead of displacement, we are having angular, because in circles the displacement is measured in form of angular displacement. So it is represented by theta. So just keep this in mind. Mass, damper, and linear spring are the basic elements of translational system. Inertia, damper, and torsional spring are the basic elements of rotational system. Whereas the basic system variables of here are force and displacement, here torque and angular displacement. Now we will model these elements one by one. These are the basic elements. We will derive its. We will look into its basic equation. So mass and inertia. First one is mass and then inertia. So mass, what is the definition of mass? It is the property of an element that stores kinetic energy due to translational motion. Stores kinetic energy due to translational motion. So it is the stores kinetic energy due to the translation motion. What is inertia? It is a property of an element that stores kinetic energy due to rotational motion. Here the motion is rotational. So when a force is acted now, if under mass, when a force is acting on the body of mass m, causing a displacement x. Suppose we are having a mass that is m, and when a force is acting to this mass and it is having a displacement x. So by Newton's second law, we can write force is equal to rate of change of momentum. That is, P is called as momentum, and P is denoted by rate of change of momentum. And what instead is momentum? Momentum is equal to mass into velocity. I will not be devoting much time in explaining this, but if you already know, just understand this. What is momentum? What is Newton's second law? Because our target is not that. Our target is modeling of a system. Okay, these are some basic laws. I will not be focusing or stressing much on these concepts. So what is P? That is momentum. Momentum is equal to mass into velocity. And what is velocity? That is velocity. You can write rate of change of distance. So you can substitute the value of F is equal to here. So this will be equal to m d square x by dt square. So again, if you want to write, so force is equal to m d square x by dt square. So this will be equal to m x double dot. So you can write m x double dot. So this is how we model. Sorry, here capital M is there, so we can write capital M. Capital M. So capital M x double dot means it's double differentiation. Is it okay? Is it okay, or should I explain it again? Okay, let me know if there is any problem. So if we talk about rotational motion, again we are having a mass, let us say inertia. A torque is acting upon this, and it is having a angular displacement of theta. So as equivalent to this, we can write here, if you do not want to get confused. So torque is equal to, here force is a force, and here we can replace force by torque. So torque is equal to J, that is inertia, into this angular displacement. That is J is inertia into double differentiation of angular displacement. So T is equal to J theta double dot, or you can write J d square theta by dt square. Both are same. So this is how we use mathematical modeling of mass and inertia. Again, to make you more clearer, so force is equal to mass into double differentiation of displacement, and torque is equal to inertia into double differentiation of angular displacement. This can be rewritten as m x double dot, and this can be written as j theta double dot.
Excuse me, sir. This d square x by dt square d2x by dt square is acceleration, right?
Sorry, d2x by dt square is?
Acceleration.
Yes, acceleration. Correct. Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Yes.
So torque means angular.
Torque means when you it is
Displacement.
a force
How
field.
much the angle is displaced by rotating?
Sorry, your question is not.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you please repeat?
Means that torque means how much angle is displaced during rotation.
Yes,
Right.
you can measure in form of angular displacement by this formula, that is inertia into double differentiation of angular displacement. Okay.
Sir.
Okay. Next, we will see damper. We have seen mass and inertia. Next, basic element is damper, and damper is common in both of them. That is translational as well as rotational. So we will see damper. So damper is an element that generates a force which acts opposite to the direction of motion. Generates a force which acts opposite to the direction of motion in both translational or rotational. So if you have seen, if you have ever filled an air to the cycle tube, you might have felt upward pressure. If you are pulling it down, you might have felt that there is some force which is acting upward. I'm not sure whether you have felt it or not, and or if
Yes,
you have
sir,
seen shock up when some breakers comes or when some path hole comes. The vehicle goes into the path hole, and there is a sudden movement of the damper in a downward direction, but suddenly it moves up also. So there is a, what is a damper? It generates a force which acts opposite to the direction of motion. Suppose if you are moving that equipment downwards, so you will feel a force in the upward direction. Similarly, if the shock, if in shock up, if path hole comes, it will move downwards, and then suddenly it will move upward. So damper is that thing that generates a force which acts opposite to the direction of motion or translational rotation. You can say, right, damper resist motion. Damper resist motion. So how you represent damper? You represent by this diagram. That is, this kind of a diagram represents a damper. Okay. Let us suppose a force is acting in this way and displacement is also in this way. So force is acting in this way and displacement is also in this way. In rotational system also, damper is represented in the same way. It is like this. A force is acting, a torque is acting here, torque is there, and displacement is represented in terms of angular displacement, where having theta. So here mathematically we can represent force is equal to B dx by dt. So B is a constant for damper, that is B, and dx by dt is you can see velocity. So you can write force is equal to B x torque. So this is how we can represent mathematically the damper system. So torque is equal to D. D is again constant which represents damper. D theta by dt. You can also write dt is equal to d theta dot. So we have seen damper and we have seen mass. Mass is how mass is related. If I can write it here. So force is equal to mass into x double dot, and here torque is equal to inertia into theta double dot. I'm just writing it again and again so that you can remember it. Okay. Next, last thing that we are remaining is spring. That is linear versus torsional spring. So what is linear spring? It is a property of an element that stores potential energy due to the translational motion. What is a spring? Linear spring. Property of an element that stores potential energy due to translational motion. Here, property of an element that stores potential energy due to rotational motion. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So it stores potential energy due to translational motion. It is front and back, upward or downward. It stores potential energy due to rotational motion. So how we represent spring? We represent spring by this. You can say it is identical to resistor in the way it is looking, but it is not a resistor. It is a spring having a constant K. Here we are having how we represent spring. We represent by inductor kind of a diagram. In mechanical system, we represent spring by this. So here also the constant is K. So how we represent it in mathematical model, that is force is directly proportional because it is a potential energy. So force is equal to K into X. And here torque is equal to K into theta. So if force is acting in here and displacement is this, here also torque is acting in this, so theta is a displacement. So we are having three basic elements, that is force and mass, damper and spring. I will just rewrite all the equation again. So here we are having translational and here we are having rotational. Right? We are having three basic elements. First one is mass, that is mass d2x by dt square. X is a displacement. Here torque will be equal to J is the inertia, d square theta by dt square. Theta is angular displacement. Force is equal to B dx by dt. B is the damper. And torque is equal to D theta by dt. Force is equal to K, that is spring constant, into X, that is X is a displacement. Torque is equal to K, spring constant is theta, that is angular. Spring constant is K and theta is the angular displacement. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now we will do the analysis.
Okay, sir.
Now we will do analysis, that is analytical modeling. So let me write some steps. So steps of nodal analysis of mechanical system. There are some steps. Please mute yourself. I think some student has unmuted it. What is the steps involved? First step is identify the number of nodes. Please mute yourself. Identify the number of nodes. Just wait a second. I'm hearing some kind of a noise. This kind of problem I do not want to happen. I'm telling it again and again. If you're feeling exhausted, you let me know. I will stop, okay? Should I continue or should I stop? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So should I continue?
Stop, sir.
Sir, stop it, sir.
Please stop.
No,
sir.
sir.
Stop.
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay, I will stop. So I will just repeat what we have seen. So I thought of completing this, but it's okay. So this model, so assist our previous classes, and we said for analyzing this system, we need its mathematical model. So what are the different types of mathematical model? The differential equation, transfer function, and state space. We said that we will not be covering this, but this is also a very good tool for modeling a system. But these two are in our course, so we will be studying this. If anyone have any interest of learning this, I will be happy to help. So we will. What is the difference between differential equation, Laplace? These are the three equations. First one is differential equation, second one is transfer function, and third one is state space representation of this electrical network, which is shown here. Now that we know how to model, so what are the types of modeling? There are two types of modeling that we can do: analytical and experimental. Experimental, I've just given a brief idea, and I have said that this is not in our course, so we will not be seeing this more. Analytical modeling involves physical laws that we are currently seeing. So for studying this analytical modeling, we first have understanding of physical systems. Physical systems, there are these kinds of physical systems: electrical, mechanical, electronic, hydraulic, and thermal. We have under our syllabus, we have electrical and mechanical. All of these systems have some basic elements, and in those basic elements, we will use mathematical modeling by physical laws. We have started with electrical system, and we have said that voltage and current source are basic electrical systems. Where basic elements are resistor, inductor, and capacitor. Variables are voltage and charge under voltage source, and current and flux under current source. So we have modeled each element one by one. We have done an example of nodal analysis, and we have seen that basic variables of current source is current and flux, whereas variable in voltage source is voltage and charge. Mechanical system, we have started, and translational and rotational. Basic elements are mass damper and linear spring, inertia damper and torsional spring. Basic variable, we will see in our next class. So we have derived the mathematical equation of all this. There is mass, damper, and linear spring. Finally, we have got this here. There is force is equal to mass into d2x by dt square. To torque is equal to j, that is inertia, into d2 theta by dt square. Force is equal to damper constant, that is b into dx by dt. Torque is equal to damper constant into d theta by dt. Force is equal to spring constant k into x. Torque is equal to torsional spring constant into angular displacement. Now we will be seeing later in our next classes or next lecture what is the way forward.